I absolutely strongly believe that Ishowspeed should be protected at all costs because what he's doing and at the scale at which he's doing it has never been done before. And that could make him susceptible to attack or some sort of like, let's say, a rebuttal from the white supremacists. Because what Ishowspeed is doing is like an expose. It's like decade-long false narratives, manipulation, a systematic, you'd say agendas that have for decades been perpetrated by white supremacists have not just been debunked. And it's like a curse that's being broken that, had been cast since before and even after the foundations of, this world. It just paints a panoramic picture that a person who lies to you, manipulates you, and has power over you, it doesn't last forever, bruh. There's always a day and a time when the spell breaks. And when it does, you better be ready because it's your time to awaken and take up space in your position. And I believe with what Ishowspeed is doing, it's extremely dangerous. Not just for us here, but for him in terms of they have better resources, they have better systems, and so they can retaliate, they can fire back. But for us, we have to be ready because all the false narrative, the derogatory, you know, explanations and stories and filthy lies have now been exposed, boom, to the world. So I believe Ishowspeed, I trust that the people who are handling him behind the scenes will not sleep with the enemy. They will not sleep with the enemy. Because what usually happens with such stars is they become a target of the elites. And since they control the world, I don't know if it's, you can still link it to the 1%. They always end up wanting to have a hold on a grip on some of these developing countries in a way that they have to keep on lying to their controllers and handlers that this is what's happening here. And then they brainwash people and people get sucked up into it. And now it's easy to capture and manipulate them to do anything that they want for them. And that's why the systems, the laws, and now I believe we are also heading to a place where there'll be universal social media laws. If you can't do this, if you're an influencer of this level, if you're a content creator of this level, then you abide by this and this and you're controlled by this and this. So a lot of corruption is going to happen. That's why I'm saying I pray Ishowspeed, the people handling him behind the scenes, will protect him at all costs and his integrity. Because at this point, anyone who could, like some of these billionaires, what they usually do is they fund somebody who's big, who has numbers and influence, and they tell him, I want you to perpetuate this narrative and say this and this and this. Because you have a certain influence and effervescence on a certain demographic of people, you're able to easily, sell them that brand or that idea, ideology, or that philosophy. And now you have a whole cult of people believing in it, being brainwashed and manipulated. And so Ishowspeed is avant-garde. He's extremely powerful and just unfathomable. He's unreal. I don't think he's a human being anymore. He's literally sent from heaven. That's what I can use to describe, his entire, situation and what he's doing. Never been done before, never been witnessed before. So he needs to be protected because when those people decide to fire back, they destroy the base for real, for real, for real, for real, for real, because all their lies and everything has been exposed to the naked eye. And now Americans, Black Americans, who most of them are usually resentful to Africans. Most Black Americans have interacted with, they have the superiority complexity, syndrome, where they believe they're always the one. It's about them. They know better. They can never do this. They can never do that. No, I can't. So I believe it's now time for them to reroute, re-strategize, and recalculate their thoughts and rewire how they felt, and even think about Africa, where they came from, and try to reconnect with their roots, because a time is coming when most of them will actually be dashing here. And I believe Ishowspeed has opened the portal. So it's time for you guys. It's time for you guys. So Ishowspeed needs to be protected at all costs. I pray he doesn't go the Charlie Kirk way. And not the Charlie Kirk way like in terms of doing the content, but they don't do him the Charlie Kirk way. Because that's what they do when you become, when you can't be morphed into what they want. And the controllers of even YouTube, the Twitches and all those, they are part of the 1%, bro. They're part of the 1%. They are very powerful people who make very strong decisions about humans on earth. And now with AI, it's going to be crazy. So I pray for Ishowspeed that may he be surrounded by a wall of African spiritual protection over him forever and ever as he continues to do what he does.